The question of whether broadcasting Earth's position into the vast expanse of the cosmos represents a profound error, once dismissed as mere speculation from the realms of science fiction, now resonates with profound layers of philosophical inquiry, astronomical physics, and ethical deliberation. This issue gains even greater urgency in the context of ongoing initiatives to detect extraterrestrial life and the deliberate transmission of signals into deep space. The act of revealing our planet's existence, coordinates, and biological essence to the immense and unknown universe, undertaken with a blend of naive optimism or calculated boldness, invites scrutiny through the stark prism of survival's core tenets, the imperative of informational secrecy and inherent vulnerability. Could this openness, embodied in potent radio transmissions, meticulously encoded images, or even physical probes dispatched decades ago bearing messages for any who might find them, amount to an act of self-exposure before entities potentially wielding technological prowess millennia beyond our own, a maneuver that game theorists might classify as a form of enlightened self-annihilation? To dissect the rationale and latent repercussions of these proactive signaling endeavors, one must first reaffirm the essence of the messages dispatched thus far. The inaugural deliberate and robust transmission widely cited is the Arecibo message of 1974, a binary data sequence beamed from the Arecibo radio telescope toward the Messier 13 star cluster, situated approximately 25,000 light-years from Earth. Crafted by luminaries such as Frank Drake and Carl Sagan, this dispatch transcended a simple greeting. It encapsulated humanity's quintessence, encompassing prime numbers, the chemical formulas for deoxyribonucleic acid, depictions of human form, a diagram of our solar system, and the very architecture of the Arecibo telescope itself. Infused with educational intent and hopeful aspiration, the message's intricate detail paradoxically emerges as its most precarious facet. It proffers a veritable treasure map of our knowledge, technologies, and biology to any civilization sophisticated enough to decipher it and, crucially, potent enough to embark on interstellar traversal. This discourse on proactive signaling is far from novel, yet it has intensified amid advancements in broadcasting technologies and breakthroughs in exoplanet detection. Detractors, including the renowned astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, have repeatedly sounded alarms on these perils. The central contention revolves around the informal zoo hypothesis, positing that in the cosmos's ruthless competitive arena for existence, elder and more formidable civilizations tend to exploit or eradicate nascent ones they encounter. Hawking likened this dynamic to European encounters with indigenous American peoples, where historical outcomes starkly favored the technologically and socially superior party. Human history's annals, though not perfectly analogous on a galactic scale, nonetheless reveal a disquieting pattern. Collisions between civilizations of disparate developmental stages frequently culminate in the dominance or extinction of the less advanced. Temporal asymmetry in transmission and response timelines further complicates the equation. Should a civilization intercept the Arecibo message today, their reply would require at minimum 25,000 years to reach Earth. Thus, any rejoinder we might detect would testify to a society that endured, evolved, and mastered spacefaring at least 25,000 years prior to our own era of attentive listening or outreach. This notion of cosmic perceptual lag raises profound queries about the viability of any ensuing dialogue and, more pressingly, the safety of communing with an entity whose motivations elude our foresight. We engage not with a contemporaneous peer but with an unwritten chronicle, potentially one harboring our own cataclysmic denouement. Advocates for proactive signaling counter that silence equates to complicity, and the quest for extraterrestrial life constitutes an innate imperative of intellect. They invoke the universal intelligence principle, suggesting advanced societies may have transcended primal aggression or rivalry. Such entities might have surmounted the technological singularity or ascended to immaterial existences where material resources cease to dominate pursuits. Proponents like astronomer Jill Tarter, though favoring passive reception, concede that fear could obstruct epochal revelations. They underscore that our century-long inadvertent emissions of radio and television signals into space render a targeted, potent message unlikely to substantially elevate risks. Natural radio emissions, such as cosmic rays and the cosmic microwave background radiation, already obscure our presence at interstellar distances, yet a deliberate, encoded signal would stand out starkly against the ambient noise when scrutinized by a vigilant advanced observer. Nevertheless, equating inadvertent leaks with intentional broadcasts constitutes a hazardous fallacy. Analog television broadcasts, particularly legacy programming, suffer from low resolution and diffuse energy, rendering them virtually undecipherable across star systems. Intentional signals, by contrast, employ high information density, narrow bandwidths, and focused power to enhance detectability and decodability. This distinction mirrors the chasm between accidentally scattering a scrap of paper amid a tempest and dispatching a gold-sealed missive via an interplanetary postal service. Delving deeper into hazards necessitates exploring hypothetical civilizations' resource consumption patterns and societal stabilities. Envision confronting a Type 2 or Type 3 entity on the Kardashev scale. A Type 2 civilization harnesses its host star's full output, equivalent to roughly 4 times 10 to the power of 26 watts. A Type 3 dominion extends across an entire galaxy. Should such a power sustain long enough to perfect efficient interstellar propulsion, perhaps via antimatter drives, laser sails, or theoretical spacetime warping mechanisms like the Alcubierre drive, their resource imperatives would appear boundless by our metrics. Earth, laden with rare metals, liquid water, and a fortuitous perch in a radiation-quiet galactic neighborhood, would gleam as an inestimable prize. Earth's biosphere limits warrant equal contemplation. Our ecosystem remains delicately balanced, sustaining life within a narrow thermal and atmospheric envelope around an ordinary G2V spectral class star. While astrobiologists probe alternatives like non-aqueous solvents or extremophile adaptations, the carbon-based, multicellular complexity we embody proves exquisitely sensitive. Unveiling such a scarce life oasis to prospective cosmic predators constitutes an irrevocable gamble. Strategic reticence has emerged as a prudent default policy among researchers. In interstellar game theory, this mirrors withholding a valuable asset's location in a contested domain. Passive eavesdropping proves judicious, it accrues insights into alien natures, technologies, and intent sans betraying our own footprint. This observe and assimilate approach minimizes perils while advancing epistemic goals. Yet messaging extends beyond electromagnetic waves. Physical emissaries, such as Pioneer 10 and 11 alongside Voyager 1 and 2, bear gold-plated plaques and phonograph records as deliberate cosmic drift bottles. Voyagers now traverse interstellar voids, laden with human emblems. Though the odds of alien interception and decoding of these diminutive, sluggishly cruising artifacts amid the galactic sprawl border on infinitesimal, their persistence poses ethical quandaries. Unlike fading radio waves, these artifacts endure for billions of years, outlasting their progenitors. They embody eternal testaments to our presence, perpetual invitations. To enrich this dialogue, consider extraterrestrial cognition and intents. A common presupposition holds that alien drives mirror humanity's. Yet, having navigated the Great Filter, that formidable barrier impeding interstellar ascension, their imperatives might diverge utterly. They could optimize for energy efficiency, rendering spacefaring profligate and superfluous, or dismiss fledgling societies like ours as inconsequential, akin to our regard for microbial colonies. Should they embody post-biological forms, governed by superintelligent artificial minds with hard-coded objectives, interventions might stem not from avarice but algorithmic fiat. Suppose their utility function prioritizes abstract maximization, deeming planetary harvesting the optimal path, our emergence then registers as a mere computational nuisance to be excised pragmatically. This evokes the cosmic paperclip maximizer scenario, an innocuous aim spiraling into wholesale devastation through ethical contextual voids. Astronomical physics imposes formidable barriers to intercourse. Galactic spans defy facile bridging. Even positing superluminal conduits, conveying sufficient data for mutual comprehension demands Herculean engineering. Transmitting a digital library of Alexandria facsimile requires quintillions of bytes. Propagation across thousands of light-years exacts energies straining even a Type 1 civilization's sustainability. Hence, proponents advocate concise missives anchored in universal physical constants and elementary mathematics, forging a lingua franca of the stars. Yet furnishing this decryption key invites peril, as it unlocks deeper probes into our technological underpinnings. Ponder the galactic habitable zone concept and our locus therein. Earth resides in the Gould Belt, a serene galactic annulus shielding us from the core's supermassive black holes, gamma-ray bursts, and intense radiations. This evolutionary boon could shatter under potent broadcasts. Detectable radio bursts would not merely pinpoint us but betray our energy mobilization capacities, potentially luring malign attentions indifferent to pacific coexistence. In the universe, silence often epitomizes strategic sagacity. Historical project retrospectives reveal a glaring absence of global ethical scaffolding. Signaling verdicts typically devolve to insular scientific coteries or enthusiasts, bereft of broad international accord. This contravenes interstellar self-determination rights, humanity's collective prerogative to hazard extinction for knowledge's sake. A hostile reprisal would imperil the entire globe, its biota, and legacies, ensnaring far beyond the signalers. Theoretical physics harbors conjectures of unimagined matter-energy modalities. We wield electromagnetism for discourse, but advanced peers might manipulate gravitational interplay, neutrino fluxes, or space-time fabric perturbations. Mastering such, our radio whispers pale against their thunderclaps. Dispatching graphite-scribbled epistles to gravity-bending interlocutors underscores irreconcilable asymmetries, confounding risk calculus. The galactic effect merits dual physical and informational scrutiny. A mature civilization might rebroadcast arcana precipitating cultural implosion or irredeemable technological vassalage, termed the interstellar cognitive shock. Receipt of fusion mastery or gravity force unification could unravel our polity, beleaguered by mundane political and economic strife, beneath abrupt paradigm upheavals. Far from transcendence, it risks societal fracture. Empirical anchors include a 2019 simulation by the Center for Cosmic Ethics, modeling collision scenarios via presumed signal energetics and plausible interstellar transit paradigms. Employing distance-squared signal attenuation laws augmented by alien amplification coefficients, outcomes across neutral to adversarial recipient intents yielded low response probabilities yet near certain civilizational terminus for adverse encounters. Even scant hostile fractions render the wager untenable for species perpetuity. Listening campaigns illuminate planetary ubiquity. Kepler telescope data unveiled thousands of exoplanets, spotlighting super-Earths and habitable zone worlds around red dwarfs, intimating life seeds abound. If vitality proliferates, our overtures cease uniqueness, devolving to raucous interjections in a teeming cosmic suburb, perturbing entrenched denizens. Recent 2025 revelations amplify this as astronomers at the University of California Irvine identified GJ251c, a super-Earth fourfold Earth's mass in its star's habitable zone, 18 light-years distant, primed for liquid water and biosignature hunts via forthcoming 30-meter telescope imaging. Concurrently, Penn State spectrographs confirmed HD 2070-94d, a super-Earth traversing a 647-day eccentric orbit dipping into its Sun-like star's habitable precinct, a mere 20 light-years away, leveraging 2 decades of telescopic vigilance. Proxima Centauri DS validation in the nearest stellar system, alongside L9859F's low-mass addition and Barnard star's trio of inner worlds, underscores habitability's prevalence, heightening stakes for indiscriminate beacons. In this milieu, broadcasting Earth's locus transcends science, embodying political and moral imperatives. Dare we proxy for humanity and biosphere in a cosmic wager capped by annihilation? Risk tolerance blurs into recklessness when extinction looms. Initial messages' ingenuousness invites re-evaluation. The Arecibo Dispatch, a mathematical elegy, idealizes human essence, eliding conflict, warfare, and societal fissures. Alien decoders, refracted through their communicative annals, might discern not poets or savants but nuclear-armed auto-destructors. This aspirational reality dissonance risks grievous misinterpretation or, worse, indictment as latent menace. Emergent paradigms like camouflage signals or cautionary broadcasts propose alternatives, disseminating perils of unchecked expansion or advanced artificial intelligence hazards, aspiring to multiversal admonition sans sender coordinates. Yet this presumes altruistic interstellar guardianship, an ethically exalted surmise unbuttressed by empirics. Applied physics underscores potent signaling's veracity, invoking Dyson swarm architectures or equivalents for emission concentration. Commanding stellar-scale energies for 25,000 light-year dispatches implies stellar system stewardship. Our modest radio telescopes, dwarfed by interstellar defense exigencies, betray profound mismatches. We rap feebly at portals, unprepared for tank-borne replies. An authoritative international body for signaling protocols looms imperative. Current governance tilts toward private enclaves or boutique institutes, akin to unilateral urban detonations sans civic consent. A United Nations-led consortium with premier scientific bodies must enact interim moratoriums pending deeper cosmic philosophic grasp. 2025's contours sharpened this exigency. The International Academy of Astronautics SETI Committee, via a 2022 task force, propelled revisions to 2010 post-detection protocols, ratified preliminarily at Sydney's International Astronautical Congress. These best practices mandate signal verification, dual-site data archiving for stakeholder access, and analytic software transparency, addressing active transmissions response potentials amid technological evolutions. METI International persists in crafting interdisciplinary interstellar missives, convening cognition and communication forums, yet faces moratorium advocacy from figures like David Brin, decrying unilateral perils akin to nuclear proliferation. Berkeley SETI's stance reaffirms passive search's primacy, cautioning active ventures' premature hazards given incomplete galactic sweeps. Simulations and ethical treatises proliferate, echoing Hawking's specters while probing Fermi's silence, self-extinction or prudent restraint. Amid exoplanet surges, from K218b's biosignature teases to TRAPPIST-1's refined habitables, the imperative crystallizes, without safeguards against irreversibles or firmer benignity proofs, reticence honors life's fragility. In summation, disseminating Earth's coordinates, propelled by sublime curiosity and connective yearning, harbors existential perils. Threats span overt belligerence, perceptual chasms, technological disequilibria, and inadvertent cultural ruptures via indigestible law. In Infinity's Forge, where survival reigns primordial, strategic hush bespeaks not cowardice but prudence's pinnacle and life's reverence. Until self-fortification against irretrievables or unequivocal advanced amity evidences, withholding our dual coordinates whisper stands as sole fiduciary course. Messaging heralds hope, yet perchance etches history's gravest erratum, unamenable to sequels.